She didn't care anymore. I think she saw it didn't matter.
I started it too soon.
Just a minute.
Yeah.
Just what? Oh, they're coming in the door. Yeah, you should. They feel.
Try not to cry for yourself. How many is someone to cry?
That was really bad. Oh, you got her too? Oh, yeah.
Can we all stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God,
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated.
Good evening. I'm Zach Richards and proud to be one of the assistant principals at SCORE Academy. First, I would like to recognize and thank all of the friends and family members of our graduates that are here to help celebrate this special occasion. Also, special thanks to the faculty and staff members of SCORE Academy who are here this evening and I know are very proud of our graduate accomplishments. At this time, please join me in recognizing special guests and administration. Mrs. Jody Hines, SCORE Academy Principal. Mr. Bill Fletcher, Wake County Public School Board Member. Ms. Lindsay McAfee, Wake County School Board Member. Mr. Jonathan Enns, Southwestern Area Superintendent. Mr. Paul Coe, Assistant Superintendent of Student Services. Mr. Brian Pittman, Senior Director of High School. Mr. Paul Walker, Senior Director of Student Due Process and Alternative Education. Mr. Kenneth Jorgensen, Director of Student Due Process and Alternative Education. Mr. Anson Robinson, SCORE Academy Assistant Principal. Mrs. Megan Lane, SCORE Academy 2019-2020 Teacher of the Year. Ms. Natalia Rodriguez, SCORE Academy Counselor. Olivia Kong, SCORE Academy 2020 graduate. Josiah Law, SCORE Academy 2020 graduate. Mrs. Kristen Ratliff, SCORE Academy Dean of Students. Thank you for being here, and at this time, I would like to introduce the principal of SCORE Academy, Mrs. Jody Hines.
Good evening. It's such a great pleasure to welcome everyone to tonight's graduation. I can't think of a better way to start a new decade than recognizing and celebrating our 55 graduates. Tonight's graduation ceremony is particularly meaningful as we are truly closing out on a momentous decade and ushering in what's bound to be change at the speed of light. The 2010s saw all sorts of things like the iPad, Alexa no longer just being the girl next door, the madness known as Fortnite, and who could imagine living without Snapchat filters? All of these things and so much more shape some of our thoughts, choices, and at times, some important decisions. But graduates, I want you to consider the last decade of yourself as version 1.0. This is important because an hour from now, you'll be well on your way to version 2.0, a whole new operating system. There's no magic bullet to becoming a better version of yourself. But if you haven't started yet, there's no need to worry, because upgrade opportunities are always just around the corner. So to help you make this happen, I'm going to take just a minute or so tonight and offer a few words of advice. First, instead of a to-do list, I want you to start with a do-not-do list. These are all the bad habits and routines that allow us to get off our path to upgraded versions of ourselves. Secondly, use your imagination. I want you to be able to touch, feel, and smell version 2.0 of yourself, because envisioning the upgraded version of you will serve as a guide and ensure your vision of you and not someone else's. Next, put love in your life. Love yourself and those around you. By loving yourself, you reject shame and the notion that you are not good enough. By loving those around you, you feel better, you feel in control, and you have a sense of strength. Lastly, graduates, upgrades sometimes do have hiccups and need a reboot. This is when you need to disconnect, find some time to pause, rest, and chill. Because even if you unplug yourself, I promise you'll still work in the morning. Before I close, I want to thank the dedicated staff at Sword Academy for sharing their gift of teaching, their passion, and their love. Each day they seek to provide a safe and engaging place for students to excel and succeed. You're awesome, and quite a collection of dedicated professionals. Graduates, I leave you with a quote from T.S. Eliot. For last year's words belong to last year's language, and next year's words await another voice. And to make an end is to make a new beginning. Congratulations to all. I have the pleasure tonight to introduce our next guest speaker as well, Teacher of the Year, Megan Lane. Ms. Lane is a special education teacher with 15 years of experience. She has worked at several schools throughout the district and left a legacy at each of them. Personally, I have worked with Megan for 13 years at 3 schools and have witnessed both her magic and her mischief. When she's not hanging rogue Skid Row posters or Halloween skeletons, who you can probably guess has been up so long he's got a name, Mr. Bones. She's working long hours, making sure students are being served and cared for, that staff are feeling confident with the myriad of testing rules, and the litany of paperwork she's responsible for is completed and dead on accurate. When you talk to other teachers about Megan, they always marvel at her uncanny ability to talk about difficult things with students while still showing how much she cares. She never sugarcoats anything. She's genuine and she's authentic. A particular quote from a colleague really rang true for me. Megan is the perfect mix of honesty and empathy, which is one of the many reasons her colleagues voted her Teacher of the Year. Truly, Megan is one of the hardest working individuals I've ever met. I respect her immensely, as do her colleagues and students. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Megan Lane, Sword Academy Teacher of the Year, as our first guest speaker.
We all have a story. The decisions that we make in each stage of our lives determine what the next chapter of that story will be, although it seems like the story never ends up the way we thought it would. Each of you in the SCORE Academy graduating class of January 2020 has your own unique story so far. The fact that you ended up at SCORE Academy indicates that your story has been filled with challenges and conflicts, but you rose up to the challenge, you put in the work, and you earned your diploma. As a result, your story now reads more like a choose-your-own-adventure book, because you now have choices. You can choose to get a better paying job with better hours, you can choose to go on to a trade program or a college program, or you can choose to take a little bit of time to figure out what your next step should be. Just like many of you, my story did not turn out exactly how I thought it would. I changed my mind several times about which career path to take, but I never gave up, and through trial and error and persistence, I ended up in a position where I was able to choose to take this amazing job as a teacher at SCORE Academy. So, class of January 2020, please do not let this be the end of your story. It may take some trial and error and some persistence, but choose to keep improving yourself and striving for the life that you want. And please let us know how your story turns out. Thank you and congratulations.
Good evening. I'm Kristen Ratliff, and I have the privilege of being the SCORE Academy Dean of Students. I also have the honor of introducing two of this year's SCORE Academy graduates that will share their thoughts and story with you. The introductions were written by two of our SCORE Academy teachers. Mrs. Stone, a SCORE Academy English teacher, writes, Olivia Kong, former Heritage High School student, enrolled with SCORE Academy in February of 2019. It was obvious from the first meeting that Olivia is a very independent young lady. She had just started a job at Steak and Shake, and we discussed how important balance would be to work a job while completing her schoolwork. Despite some challenges with getting on site, personal struggles, and work-school balance, Olivia remained determined to graduate. She worked hard, one might say extremely hard, the past 4 weeks, pushing it to the very last day of the graduation deadline in true Olivia fashion. But she did it, and we are so happy that she did. Ladies and gentlemen, here to speak to you today and share a little more about her own story, Miss Olivia Kong.
I'm very honored to have been given the opportunity to speak to you about my experiences. I would first like to say thank you to all of the teachers, graduates, friends, family, and everyone else who was a part of SCORE for helping me and my classmates get here tonight. Without you, I'm sure the outcome would have been very different. We are finally graduating. It's crazy how time flies and how much things can change, because if you had asked me a year ago if I was to graduate, I would have laughed in disbelief. Like most teenagers, I went through phases. Or 3, trying to figure out my purpose, trying to see if the world really needs me or my purpose is important to anyone else. Somewhere along the way, school started to become less and less of a priority until it ultimately became an option to me. Eventually, I stopped going to school altogether. I thought I wanted to work and make money. Before I knew it, I became money hungry. It was really all I cared about. Now, there's nothing wrong with having money. We all need it to survive, but when it became the only thing I cared about, I started to lose myself. I lost a lot of people who I cared about and who cared about me, and I especially lost myself. Looking back, I realized I rebelled so much because I was seeking attention, but the only people I wanted attention from ignored me. Instead of this being a sign that I need to change, I just rebelled even more. Eventually, I wasn't talking to anyone in my family for about a year. I would not admit it at the time, but it was really hard. It sort of felt like I was naked because I had completely disassociated myself from my roots and all I had ever known. As a child of immigrants, I always felt like there was a bit of a culture barrier between my parents and me. So when my mom would try to help me, I would just dismiss her concerns with, she doesn't understand because she's not from here. In truth, it was just another excuse for me to continue down the path I was on. My mom just wants the best for me like any good mom does. Eventually, the more alone I felt, the more the questions about my purpose resurfaced. Thinking about it made me sit back and realize that in life, either you have only yourself to depend on, or you have a stable support system, such as your friends and your family. If you're lucky, you have both. And that's what I did. But I made choices that changed that. I knew I needed to change, but I didn't know how. SCORE Academy seemed like the best option because of the flexible hours and independent pace. I still struggled with getting to school, priorities and balance. I did not always make it easy on myself. I do have to say that the sleepless nights and the last minute working on coursework was worth it because I'm standing here on this stage today. I learned that my only enemy is myself, and I'm the only one stopping me from achieving what I want. I made it. We made it. We may not have taken the traditional or easy path, but we all overcame obstacles to graduate today. And the lessons we learned through our struggles will help us overcome adversity we may face in the future. Some might even say that we are more prepared because of our journey. I know I am. Thank you.
Mr. Nillis, a social studies teacher at SCORE Academy, writes, Josiah Wall was a junior at Leesville Road High School when he enrolled at SCORE Academy in May of 2019. Although he never struggled with content mastery, he fell off cohort when anxiety and insomnia, in combination with the historical lack of effort, made regular school attendance feel pointless and impossible. Now, 7 credits later, he's ready to begin his collegiate studies at Wake Tech, where his banter and oversized hair are sure to make an impression. Josiah?
Hello all. 8 years ago, my family moved across the country from Phoenix, Arizona, all the way here to Raleigh, North Carolina. Some may say the move could have gone much smoother. After all, we only had 7 total vehicular breakdowns. 7. And we had 3 large dogs, Great Danes, in the car. That was an experience.
Dang.
School in Raleigh wasn't as bad as I imagined. My grades were good, and I quickly made a good amount of friends, one of whom I'm still very close with today. Fast forward a couple of euphoric childhood years, and I'm a middle schooler. Personally, I hated middle school. Making new friends felt forbidden, so for the most part, you had to work with what you had. Unfortunately for me, I picked up a couple of bad habits, staying up late, sleeping in, procrastinating my homework. Over the past couple years, I would come to realize that as you progress in academics, it gets harder and harder to finish last night's assignments in record time every time, which makes much more sense saying it out loud. Here, my grades really started to take a hit, and I failed my first class in the 8th grade English. After a seemingly short summer, high school at Leesville begins. I decided to keep honors classes, or keep taking honors classes, figuring, hey, I'll pull myself together. Nope. Freshman English, failed it. Spanish 1, a full 61% passing. To be real, Spanish 1 was essentially a 90-minute lullaby. With that being said, I did have a couple of great teachers offering time to talk and colorful advice. Can't complain about the number of opportunities I was given. Still, in the end, I didn't feel like much more than a couple of numbers in a manila folder of documentation. Enter SCORE. I had to adapt with more consistent effort and learn miles of discipline. Sometimes, no matter how little passion you have for a subject, you've got to put the work in if you want to reap the reward. After hours of repetitive quizzes and tests interrogating me about every which segment of the water cycle and staring at my laptop on Monday, I realized that high school isn't just about the list of units in a textbook. It's more. Let me ask the room, what was your big obstacle when you were 14, 15, 16 years old? Was it a social conflict or a dodgy family relationship? Maybe you're like me, and you just couldn't seem to tap into your ability to sit down for 7 hours on weekdays and focus, focus, focus. I'm certain that I'm not the only one. Let me ask you all to take a minute to remember, reflect, and recognize how you surpassed that great conflict. Maybe it was a teacher, a friend, a therapist, or a new hobby. For me, it was a fantastic network of individuals. Thank you to my family, both present and away. And on behalf of all of us graduating today, I'd like to offer my greatest thanks to the staff at SCORE for giving us that final necessary push, sometimes shove, to achieve one of our greater milestones. Lastly, I'd personally like to offer my sincere congratulations to my fellow graduates.
Good evening. For many of you, this is a special day and a long-awaited moment. It is a milestone for which to be proud. Friends and families, as we prepare to present the diplomas, we ask you to respect the dignity of this ceremony. Our graduates have worked extremely hard to reach this milestone. Each senior and their respective family deserve the right to hear clearly the student's name as it is called. We share your excitement, for we too are excited and happy for your family. But please refrain from clapping, yelling, or calling out names during the presentation of diplomas, because disruptive noises prevent other families from hearing the names of seniors that follow. We will give you an opportunity after all names are called to properly recognize our seniors. Together, let's give our graduates the dignified and special ceremony they and you deserve. I will be reading the names and a special message from each of the graduates. Again, please hold your applause and verbal congratulations until all has been shared, so that the graduates can hear their personalized message. We will ask for applause at the end.
Woo! No, she had the mics on. Yeah, they should.
Perla Ibet Ayona Saligan. Perla is attending Miller Mott College. She says, I want to thank my mom for always supporting me. Mr. Nillis and Mrs. Stone for helping me with my classes. I really appreciate it. I am so happy I started college. I'm studying to become a medical clinical assistant. Jalea Monet Brewington. I want to thank God first for giving me the strength to keep moving forward. I want to thank my mom, my family, and friends for not giving up on me. I also want to thank all of my teachers from SCORE Academy for working with me through it all. I love you all, and thanks for everything. Raven Sky Brickhouse. I plan to work and possibly pursue higher education. I want to thank Dr. Daniels for being an amazing teacher and for always supporting me and offering endless encouragement. I would also like to thank my parents for seeing me through this process and always being there for me. Rahel Juanita Brooks. I plan to get my associate's degree in nursing at Wake Tech. I would like to thank my family for encouraging me through high school. I'd like to also thank my teachers at SCORE for the support and positive energy. Christopher James Caceres. I would like to thank everybody who supported and pushed me through to graduate. Now it's time for me to pursue my life and go to college. Thank you. Christopher is planning to attend the Wake Tech transfer program. Hoshea Montoya Collins. After high school, I plan on going to Wake Tech for a nursing degree. I would like to thank my mom, sister, grandma, dad, and most definitely my uncle for helping me along the way. Thank you to my special teacher, Miss Walters, for pushing me to finish, my grandpa for making me a strong young lady, and Pamela L. Cannon for being a big support system. I love you all. Anijah Jate Cox. I am very grateful to everyone in my life who's pushed me to be and do my absolute best. I will never take for granted the support system I have from my family, friends, and peers. Every day you guys make life a little more worth living. As for the future, I plan to go to Wake Tech for 2 years, then go to university. I would love a degree in business and communications. Maybe someday I can start my own business. Victoria Diaz Castaneda is planning to work. She says special thanks to Dr. Daniels for always answering all my questions throughout my time here. To the rest of the teachers as well, because they always made sure I was on track and okay. Thank you for making a school as flexible as this one. Also, special thanks to my mom and dad for pushing me to finish school and fully supporting me until the end. Isaiah Gilbert Doby. I'm planning to study cybersecurity at Wake Tech. I would like to thank my mom for trying so hard to help me through my school years. I would also like to thank all my teachers for being so nice and supportive through the journey. I've had struggles in school, and I don't think I could have done it without the support. Thank you so much. Moraima Fabiola Estrada Alvirde is planning to attend college to be an RN. She says, I'm so thankful for my family, for believing in me, and I couldn't have done it if it wasn't for Mrs. Walters always calling and helping me. Chantel Tamika Farmer. It's been a long road to get here, and I'm so thankful for this moment. I thank my mom, dad, sisters, and friends for the motivation, but most importantly, I thank Miss Davis, Miss Vincent, Miss Stone, and Miss Marks, because without them, this wouldn't be possible. Thanks for everything. Caroline Nicole Gant is planning to attend community college for 2 years and then transfer to a university. Brandon Steven Garcia. I want to thank everyone at SCORE Academy for helping and pushing me to succeed. I want to pursue a career that involves helping people, but most of all, I want to make my family proud. Emiralis Garcia Montilla. After high school, I plan to go to college to major in social work or psychology. I would like to thank my teachers at SCORE Academy, my mom, my grandma, my grandpa, my aunt, my uncle, and my boyfriend for supporting me on this long, difficult journey. But now, all that's left is college. Corey Christopher Garrett is planning to complete a trade in HVAC. I would like to thank all of my teachers who guided me through this journey. I would like to also thank my parents for everything. Special shout out to my aunt, Gucci Mommy, for all the love and support. Robert James Gurman is planning to get a job, write a book, and go to college. I would like to thank the teachers that helped me finish high school. Mr. Middlebrooks, Mrs. Miranda, Mrs. McMillan, Mrs. Edwards, Mrs. Saldana, Mrs. Swan, and Mr. Morton, and all of the other teachers that helped me with my courses. I would also like to thank my family, my mom, my grandmother, my grandfather, and the rest of my family. Rasheen Malik Harris is planning to go to Job Corps. I just want to say it's been a long journey from long nights to people saying I won't make it. Thank you, Ms. Ahmad and Mr. Robinson and SCORE staff. Thank you to my mom and grandma for supporting me and encouraging me to never give up and always believing in me. Savannah Andriana Hatsamimis is planning to move to Texas to work in EMT. I wanted to thank my mom and dad for always helping and pushing me to do my best. I also want to thank my friends for always making me laugh. Graduation wouldn't mean as much to me without my family and friends. Amir Jasar Hoka. I'm planning to go to Wake Tech and culinary school to become a chef. I am thankful for my mom, dad, both of my grandmas and siblings because I couldn't do it without you. I also want to thank the entire SCORE staff because you all pushed me to be the best I could be. I want to thank everyone who doubted me because you motivated me to do better than your expectations. Eliza Shakila Iverson. I'm planning to travel, continue working, and take IT-related classes at Wake Tech. I'd like to thank all of my friends, family, and teachers for supporting and motivating me through the year. Adriana Janelle Johnson is planning to go to Wake Tech Medical Studies and Employment. I thank my mom for always supporting me even though I had a child. I also want to thank my counselor at Garner High School and my teachers at SCORE Academy for helping, supporting, and believing in me. I want to thank my son for giving me courage to finish school. I did it for myself, my son, and my mom. Thank you, SCORE Academy, for making this happen. Olivia Rafir Khan. After high school, I plan on going to college or becoming a flight attendant, or I might do both. I would like to thank my parents for never giving up and losing hope in me. I would also like to thank SCORE for giving me the opportunity to finish high school. Special shout out to Coach Bailey, Mr. Nillis, and Mrs. Stone for making the environment comfortable enough for me to actually want to finish. You guys rock, and so do the other teachers. Keep influencing. Alexander Joseph Craynet. The first person I want to thank is my father because he has always supported me and my desires and for teaching me how to become a young man. I also look up to my grandpa a lot. I wanted to thank the principal for letting me finish a little earlier than everyone and also everyone involved in that whole process to let me start my life. I've been working and waiting. I say this because I've been enlisted in the Marine Corps and finishing early will help me start faster. Caitlin Ann Lassiter is planning to attend community college. I would like to thank my wonderful grandmother who has continued to give me the support I needed to succeed. Ryan Christopher LaFrancois is planning to continue working as a communications technician. He says, graduating high school has always been one of my biggest dreams in order to face the real world and be an adult. I could not have completed this mission without the help from my family, friends, and most certainly my teachers. If it wasn't for people who cared about me and my future, I would not be in the place I am today. And for that, I'm not only blessed, but thankful. Gracie Elizabeth Matthews. I'm planning to take some time off to travel and then go into education. I just want to say thank you to everyone who supported me through high school, and I'm excited to see what the future holds. Malik Omar McDade is planning to attend Wake Tech and then transfer to four-year university. I want to thank my family for pushing me to succeed even when we had our faults. It was all worth it. Thanks to SCORE Academy because it was the best experience for me. Destiny Xavier McKinnon is planning to go to college. I have been waiting for this moment for a long time. Thank you to everyone that ever helped me. Chloe Josephine Moody is planning to work and then school. She says, I would like to thank my mom, Karen, for always being there for me and supporting me in my education. Thank you to my grandma, Susan, for pushing me to be the best version of myself. I would like to thank my little brother, Jack, for being the person in life I want to make proud. Thank you to my dad for always being there every step of the way, pushing me to get it done, and supporting me. Without him, none of this would be possible. And thanks to the rest of my family. I'm so glad to be done with high school. Willada Lachey Moore is planning to work and maybe college. This journey was rocky, but I jumped over all of those rocks and made it here to my graduation. This has been a long 13 years of school, but I'm finally finished. Let's go, 2020. Alessandra Nelima is planning to
and hopefully attend community college. I want to thank myself, my family, and friends for having faith in me. This journey has consisted of many trials and errors, but now they are all lessons and memories we can laugh at. I appreciate SCORE for having me and wish the best for my teachers and peers. Wesley Allen Parks. I'm attending college at Wilberforce University. My journey to graduation began in Pennsylvania in 8th grade. I experienced the loss of a loved one and struggled with motivation afterwards. I completed 8th grade, but it was a struggle. For high school, my family and I decided we needed a fresh start and moved with my uncle and aunt in California. My school experience greatly improved. I moved to Raleigh with my grandma, Yvonne Parks. I am grateful to her for helping me. My last semester, I came to SCORE Academy. I'm thankful to all my teachers and counselors for supporting me. Lastly, I thank my mom for her support and encouragement. Alma Luz Perez Olage is planning to go to college. Diamond LeClaire Pierce is planning to attend Wake Tech to major in an Associate of Arts in Social Work. She says, after all, I can say it was worth it. I want to thank my brothers for pushing me. I want to appreciate Ms. Walters and Ms. Robinson for making me feel comfortable and pushing me through this journey at SCORE. I never felt like I didn't want to be there. And Mom, I did it. Kevin Isaiah Keani Ratliff is planning to go to community college. Thanks to Ms. Walters and my other teachers at River Oaks that helped me. Kaylin Hope Roberto is planning to go to cosmetology school. Thank you to those who have loved and supported me. Josiah Ashton Wall is planning to attend community college in New York.
Wow.
Michael Hines Winterholler is planning to work and pursue mixed martial arts training. He says, I'm thankful to have this opportunity to still get a diploma after struggles in high school. I'm also thankful for my mom and teachers for pushing me to get my work done. The following students are also joining this class of 2020 SCORE Academy graduates, but could not be with us today for the ceremony. Camden Stewart Bailey, Anthony James David, Tara Ashley Hayes, Sophia Rose Hertz, Elijah Caden Ingracia, Eric Tyshawn King, Kyle Jesse Kirkpatrick, Amir Najee Lake, Bella Peyton Mears, Luis Fernando Mera, Mark Anthony Otero, Brenda Portillo Trejo, Jadica Nashawn Ruffin, Justin Lee Strickland, Ricardo Christopher Tobar, and Jose Angel Villa. Met the graduation requirements.
prescribed by the Wake County Board of Education and the state of North Carolina and is therefore eligible to receive a high school diploma. By the authority vested in me by the state of North Carolina and the Wake County Board of Education, I pronounce you graduates of SCORE Academy, class of 2020, please.
Good job! That was amazing. That was impressive. We got done in a podium. Yeah. Cut that.
Well, guess not. We'll go this way, Beck. We going this way. Okay. I'll tell her. Too many old people.
I'm dad for Audrey, my nephew. Okay, we get some likes for my nephew graduating, guys. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. That was a nice ceremony.
Very personal.
Yep. I'm glad for Audrey. A lot. Oh, here it is.
Because my knees.
Oh, okay.
My knees hurt bad.
Those were some loud reactions, though.
It would be gone. You know how wide it is out there?
That was very wonderful. Thank you very much.
I'm so proud of my baby.
You graduated, bro. You graduated, homie. How did you do it?
I didn't think we would get done until 7:30. But we got done with it. Let's go in. Congratulations. Say hi. You did it. You did it. I'm so proud of you, RJ.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Whoa. Standing right behind it.
That's so good. I love him. probably get out of the.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And don't forget it. Alright, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.